kings and fighting probably started long before the first agricultural village and the beginning of civilization. Legendary kings started with Gilgamesh. However, evidence comes from conquerors like Sargon of Akkad. Rome became the Pax Romana because of the rule of terror with professional soldiers stationed around the empire. What do we know about the food eaten and how this contributed to military success? The development of civilization built on agriculture started in multiple places, but Sumerian city states were the first, like Ur and Uruk. It was beer and bread. Elites stayed in the developing cities while peasant farmers grew crops in fertile areas where water was available. When these places were attacked, the elites had no choice but to develop military defenses, including fortifications. Envious neighbor elites raised armies to conquer these rich cities. The war race was on. Mesopotamian city states had been around millennia before Sargon claimed the area as his empire over 4,000 years ago. Akkad has been lost to prehistory. Consequently, what is known depends on later chronicles that sing his praises. That means nothing is directly known about Sargon's battle food. The closest available is the translation of later cuneiform tablets that include recipes from Neo Babylonian feasts. The most useful sources of Mesopotamian food were the translations of cuneiform clay tablets from the Yale University collection of 4,000-year-old tablets of Neo-Babylonian recipes, including a vegetable stew featuring beets, a beer and lamb stew, and a lamb broth. It's reasonable to say that the troops probably ate bread made from wheat and barley, stews, and drank beer. Fabulous feasts of the Egyptians were carved on the walls of temples, plus foods were found in the tombs of mummified militants, plus there were stelas. Staples included bread and beer, veggies, and fruits. Beef was the most important meat, and pharaohs were wine drinkers. Conquests were made down the Nile River and through Canaan to Mesopotamia. Greeks grew grapes and olives, plus the importance of shipping meant seafood and imports. They were known for banquets preceding symposiums, with men reclining on couches, feeding on finger food, probably cut into bite-sized portions by slaves. The wine came later with the symposium. This was the classical Greek period. The famous fighting happened much earlier, as written in the legendary Iliad. A lot is known about the Roman Republic and Empire, with writings from Julius Caesar, Suetonius, Tacitus, Livy, Josephus, Plutarch, and more. There was a cookbook reputed to be by Apicius, called on the subject of cooking, compiled in the 5th century. The Apicius cookbook described the food of the elites, not the soldiers. There were some 400 recipes, including salads, boiled eggs, lentils, roast tuna, veal, bread, and desserts using honey. Roman soldiers usually ate reasonably well, with wheat-based bread and porridge, plus meat, usually pork, cheese, vegetables, and legumes with olive oil and salt. Wine, but not the good stuff, was common. On the march, they were issued food for several days designed to be portable. That included hard biscuits, something like an ancient version of hardtack. The soldiers could have their own cooking pots and tools. Locally sourced food would be different, like being stationed in North Africa or England. Pilfering could provide more variety, sacking major cities even more. Rome fell in the 5th century, ultimately replaced by the feudal system in much of Europe. Knights were central to that system. Next time on Food History and Mystery.